Hello boys and girls, something a little bit different today. I thought I'd try one of those look into the camera saying words about games and stuff type videos. All the YouTubers do them, it's the biggest craze around. Now I realise I don't have like 7-foot tall IKEA shelves behind me, full up with NES games and cartridges of various values to show off my collection. Obviously this means I'm highly unqualified to do this, but what I do have is, an opinion. And my opinion is that Biker Mice from Mars, or the Super Nintendo, is well worth another look. So let's take a look at it now. I also don't have an intro video thing, so I guess it'll just start.
Biker Mice from Mars. Biker Mice from Mars. Biker Mice from Mars.
Biker Mice from Mars, the TV show, was one of a number of blatant Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles clones to appear in the mid-90s along with the likes of Street Sharks, Extreme Dinosaurs and Battletoads. Truth be told, Biker Mice from Mars as a show was probably the best of the bunch. It's the only one of these clones to have been popular enough to have gotten a revival of the show, which was brought to us in 2006.
So what about the game? Well, it's a clone. A damn good clone, to be honest, of Blizzard's Rock and Roll Racing. Hell, I'd go as far as to say it's maybe even better than the original game. Yeah, I said that.
The game chucks a few obstacles in there, ramps, gravel traps and chicanes, that sort of thing. But mostly the tracks are pretty straightforward. Your main obstacle is the other players who will make your life harder with various power-ups such as nitro boosts and mini earthquakes. Each character has their own unique power too, such as Throttle's tornado shots, Grease Pit's grease gun, and whatever this is Dr. Carbuncle has done to me here. Should probably kill that with fire. Luckily, you can defend yourself by going invincible via the mystical powers of the Snickers bar. Wait, what?
Yeah, there's Snickers bars in this. Now, I know what some of you are saying. There's no Snicker bars in Biker Mice from Mars, you hack fraud. Well, firstly, to that I'd say language. Secondly, I'd say this was only in the PAL version for some reason.
Yes, for reasons only known to some marketing twat in a suit, the UK version of Biker Mice from Mars is filled, and I mean filled, with Snickers advertising. There's billboards for Snickers, the character select screen has a giant Snickers logo under the character. When you win a race, the character poses with a Snickers bar and talks about how feckin' hungry he is. This leads to some troubling, confusing messages about drugs. I mentioned earlier how Snickers bars are invincibility boosts during the race, but in between the races you can visit Charlie's Last Chance garage and buy Snickers bars that are now armour. Thanks to the Confusion Mars Corporation, for $2,500 Snickers bar better double up as armour. Wait, not armour, food. It's food. This is your food gauge, which represents how many Snickers bars you have brought. Every time you're hit by attacks, your hunger level will decrease until your character is too hungry to go on, and as you'd expect, loses control of his vehicle and explodes. I'm not making that up, that's right here in the instructions. And as for that price, it says here Snickers bars are highly valued for their ability to ward off hunger, which is why they're so valuable in the game.
Don't have a problem. Don't have a problem.
I'm amazed that the password screen wasn't Snickers, although looking at it, nah, it's complex enough as it is. It's like Sheldon Cooper decided to make a more complex version of noughts and crosses, which explains why it's so painful and unfunny.
I honestly don't know why there's this product placement here in the game. At first I thought maybe they were trying to hammer home the name change of Marathon to Snickers, which happened in the 90s, but that was 5 years before this game. Now it's not the first game to feature product placement. Hell, I can reach to my shelf right here and grab McDonald's Land. But this was like a different sort of product placement. It wasn't integrated into the game. Like in McDonald's Land, you meet up with characters from the McDonald's universe. You know, the Hamburglar and Ronald McDonald himself. Here they've just slapped the Snickers logo on every other screen.
I'm sorry if I've gone about the product placement in this game, but it is so absurd. And maybe was the original idea for the entirety of the video. Anyway, that's enough of this peanutty goodness. How's the rest of the game? One thing Biker Mice from Mars doesn't have is a soundtrack full of popular rock and metal songs in a MIDI format. But that's cool because it has some damn fine tunes anyway, which may not be the classical earworms you may expect from 16-bit era Konami, but are pretty rocking, in a bloopy sort of way. Wanna have a listen for a second? Now, it can't quite compete with the music from Rock and Roll Racing, but that was composed by both Jeff and Tim Follin, who are genuine geniuses of chiptune music. I highly recommend looking for their music if you get the chance. That said, Bike and Mice from Mars tunes may be more to some people's taste as they are genuinely a lot less musically busy. As far as the rest of the game goes, it's pretty standard stuff. You'll race through a series of tracks upgrading your bike or flying UFO thing as you go along. Remember, Snickers are armour. The upgrades help you deal with the tougher races and you get the idea. There's a surprising amount of nuance to the gameplay too. Holding B and Y can allow you to do this little brake dash thing. You can lean into corners, press up on the pad to avoid jumping in the air, which will help maintain speed. You can also pop a wheelie on gravel to avoid slowing down. Rock and Roll Racing didn't have anything like this, and that's why I dare to say that Bike and Mice from Mars is a better game. We've already established that this wasn't the most original game ever, but it's fun, and fun does not require 100% newness. If it wasn't for cloning games we would have never had Arkanoid, Streets of Rage, or City Skylines. Hell, Rock and Roll Racing was meant to be a sequel to Blizzard's first game, RPM Racing, which took a load of inspiration from RC Pro-Am. I'm not saying Bike and Mice from Mars is some all-time classic, but it's certainly a worthy alternative to Rock and Roll Racing, and, I'd argue, a little more fun because of the inclusion of the Bike and Mice themselves and all the little extra elements to the gameplay. There's a 2-player split screen mode which will allow you to play career mode with a friend, which is a much welcome addition, and you can practice any tracks from the off. There's also an option in the menus to give player 1 and player 2 individual handicaps, which is great for anyone who is unfamiliar with the game.
So all in all, I'd say that Bike and Mice from Mars is one of those mostly forgotten gems. It may not be the greatest game ever, but it is really fun to play nonetheless. Not every game has to be the best thing in the world. Some can just be good. Bike and Mice from Mars is a Snickers-infused shot of nostalgia. There's sort of a memory of those isometric races that don't really exist anymore. So I'd say it's well worth a try. Now, it can be a little bit expensive. On eBay it tends to go for about 25-30 quid if it's boxed, sometimes way more than that. But it's about the same as Rock and Roll Racing, to be honest. And they're both great games. If you like heavy metal, go with Rock and Roll Racing, the Tim Follin soundtrack's superb. But if you're a fan of the Bike and Mice from Mars cartoon and you like giant mice, go with that. Just remember that, this is the only boost you really need. It's not even a boost bar, it's a Snickers. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you later. You already know how to like, comment, subscribe, do the things.